This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, it's a great privilege. We're here in the city of London, the heart of London, not far from the original Roman wall that was built approximately in the year 200 of the Common Era. And it's tradition that this garden over here, where after Jews were left the country, were expelled in 1290, this garden remained and was called Jews' Garden. And actually, tradition is this is an ancient Jewish cemetery. In fact, there are great rabbis who are buried here, most notably Rabbi Yaakov Meir Orleans, who was a Talmud Muvak, a primary disciple of Rabbeinu Tam. He is also referred to as Rabbeinu Tam of Orleans. The Or Zarua refers to him as Rabbeinu Yaakov HaKadosh. He leaves France, he came to England in 1170. He was killed Al Kiddush Hashem. He died Al Kiddush Hashem in 1189 in London on the day of the coronation of Richard I, Richard the Lionheart. Now, actually, Jews were asked not to attend his coronation. They were told not to show up. But they wanted to participate and show their loyalty. And when they did, he was very upset about that. And he had them dismissed, and he had them ashamed. And when it was seen that the Jews were not protected, it created a pogrom in which, unfortunately, the life of Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans was taken. I want to thank my good friend Jan Peturska, who gave us VIP access to this area. Usually you have to view it from up there, but we made it all the way into the garden. And I want to share with you something about the life of Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans, who's quoted in many of the Tosfos in the Talmud Bavli. Now, Jews were always involved in money lending here in Europe because, according to Christian religion, they could not lend with interest. So Jews were always money lenders. But it led to leniencies, not only in charging interest to Gentiles, but also in charging interest to other Jews, which is not allowed according to the halacha. So if you look in Hagois Mordechai and Baba Metzia, Siman Tafnon Hey, we have one of the earliest Shtarei Heteriska, a document to circumvent the prohibitions of charging interest to another Jew. And it comes from Rabbi Yaakov Orleans, and the Beis Yosef in Yaredea Siman Kuf Ayin Zayin writes that he does not agree with this type of contractual arrangement. He says, Ein lecha ha'arama gedol mizu, there's no greater deceit getting around the prohibition of interest. Now, Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans wrote personal Tosfos on Psachim, not our Tosfos. He wrote his personal. Many of the Balei Tosfos wrote personal Tosfos. From his Tosfos, Tosfos Shantz took many of his Tosfosim, and therefore our Tosfos on Masechta Psachim is based upon Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans. Throughout Shas, he's mentioned many times. Most often in Yuma and in Yevamis are the most times Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans is quoted. But he's mentioned in Ksubis, Kedushin, Nazir, Baba Kama, Sanhedrin, Nadarim, Avodah Zarah, and other Masechtas. We only have one tshuva, one halachic responsa from Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans. It's brought in Shas Tshuvas Maram that in London it could get very cold in the winter, and normally one cannot ask a Gentile to do forbidden labor on the Sabbath, on Shabbos, for them. Not only can a Jew not do work on the Shabbos, one cannot benefit by asking a Gentile to do work for them, but Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans has a tshuva that in the winter there's an idea that people could get ill if it's too cold, so he allowed Gentiles to warm up the oven in the Jewish homes. If you look in the commentary Chizkuni, he often quotes Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans in his commentary Ala Torah. Also, Pa'aneach Raza quotes Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans. And we have a sefer, Rabbeinu Tam, a commentary of Rabbeinu Tam Ala Torah. Many say it was not Rabbeinu Tam, the grandson of Rashi, but it was Rabbi Yaakov of Orleans, also known as Rabbeinu Tam, the student of the well-known Rabbeinu Tam. So it's a great privilege to be here. We don't know exactly where his Makam Kavura is, but to learn about him and to hear some of his Divrei Torah, his merits should stand up for all of us. And we're going to offer a prayer in this place, and in the merit of his presence here, all of our prayers should be answered.
Amen. You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.